Hey, what's happening, fam? It is OGTC, the original God of War. How y'all doing today? I'm so glad you're hanging out, and I want you to know as we close out this last few months of the God of War's 20th anniversary, I'm thrilled to bring you some exciting news about the series today. Now look, we are happy and excited to finally confirm that, the Greek Trilogy remake is now in development. Yeah, man, I know. Sit down. Now look, this project is still in the early stages, so it'll be a minute before we get back to share another update, right? But I'm telling you, next time we come back, we coming with something big, baby. Yeah.
Welcome to Between the Joysticks. Press start and then we're off. Nick and John, they've got the sauce. Breaking news and some hot takes. Even if there's some mistakes, Nick is captaining the ship, while John gives thoughts straight from the hip. But when their powers combine, we're all in for a hell of a time. Between the Joysticks is the best. Up to 6 things they will address. Tell all your friends and settle in. Between the Joysticks now begins.
Hello there, and welcome to episode 167 of the video game podcast Between the Joysticks. On this episode, we are on the other side of a 72-minute Sony State of Play. We saw over 30 games, and we're going to break that down on this very episode. What are our thoughts on God of War, Sons of Sparta, Saros, John Wick, and much more? We're going to go over all that in this episode. I'm your host, Nick, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, John. Here we are, John, in the studio once again.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel great, man. I feel great. Sun's shining. You know, the winter spell that we've been unfortunately under for a while seems to be breaking a little bit, which is, like, I've never been that guy that gets out
side-eye you because you know it's coming right back.
I know. We live in the, the Midwest of the United States. Winter isn't truly over until the end of April-ish, where you can really kind of set it behind you. However, though, Nick, you have to admit, like, compared to how it's been, this is wonderful. And I'm never that guy that, like, the sun comes back out, the weather gets warm, that's like, I love this. I'm never that guy, but this year I am. Like,
yeah.
Dude, it sucked.
Well, when you go from single digits to just 40s, you feel like, oh, I could put shorts on.
Yeah.
But no, you shouldn't do that.
No, you'll get sick, but, like, you want to. And so, yeah, with that and an awesome state of play that we'll obviously discuss here, it's, I'm cruising through Hollow Knight, almost done with that again.
Okay.
Got some, feeling good.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned Hollow Knight, so we have some good news you can announce on the show about a pal of the show.
Oh yes, sorry, I thought you were trolling me for a second. Like, you got the platinum, right? Yes. As I've mentioned on the show, I've been going through and kind of talking. I would say mentoring is too strong of a word because really it's just a couple messages back and forth on PlayStation. But friend of the show, platinum extraordinaire, leader of our troop of platinum totals, got himself, I think, a crown jewel on his list. He did do the Hollow Knight Platinum, completed the Pantheon of Hollow Nest, and finally saw that through, which I'm sure, again, talking to him briefly on PlayStation, I think he very relieved, but also kind of had the exact same takeaways that I did, which was just that it was incredibly memorable. You'll never forget that platinum run. The learning the enemies the way you do in that game is just so rewarding. And so congratulations, Jesse. That's I wasn't worried that you wouldn't do it. I was just hoping that you were going to come out on the other side of it an unchanged man. Like, there were some moments, I think, when you were kind of struggling specifically with Markoth where I was like, oh, I hope it's not just like, now I got to deal with like a month of, not me deal with Jesse for a month, but him deal with a month of like, I guess I'll try again. Right. That kind of stuff.
Hate the game.
Yeah. So, So good job, buddy. Proud of you.
Yeah, and you mentioned he had a question.
Yeah, so he did.
Talk about.
Yeah, he did hit me up, and I felt like just because we were getting ready to podcast, it's better to answer on here than to message him back. But he was saying it was getting a little hard. Actually, you know what? I'll just read his message verbatim.
Okay. And I think it's a good timing because we won't talk about it, but I also finished Cairn, and I'm looking for my next game, so it's a good time to ask these questions sometimes.
Yeah.
What's next after you beat a big game, or you platinum a game and you're putting it down, and it's a level of a game of like a Hollow Knight. It's hard sometimes to like fill that void because you're definitely not going to get that same feeling immediately, with what's on offer.
There was 2 times in my life that I can remember completing a game and literally going like, I don't want to play anything else because nothing can reach that level. And that was God of War 2018. And I literally just had it in my head, and I don't remember what the other one was now because that's how my brain works. I'm sure it'll come back to me. But yeah, you get through it, and it's just like, man, what now? Oh, Elden Ring. Elden Ring was the other one.
Yes.
So Jesse asks, I'm struggling to get into my next game. There's too many to choose from. My choices are Silksong, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Sons of Sparta, or do a bunch of small games for platinums. Nick and I discussed here shortly before we started recording, Jesse, I think the move, and this is how him and I both operate, is go do a bunch of small platinums, or a couple, 1 or 2. You don't have to do a bunch, but they're just such perfect palate cleansers when you kind of feel like you don't know, like you're either want to continue scratching an itch that was so powerful like the Hollow Knight run was. Like I remember beating that and just nothing can match this level of intensity, so it felt weird. But going and do something like an Undertale or a Neva or something like that is going to, I think, allow you to kind of clear your head a little bit, and then you could move on to something like Kingdom Come, or if you want to jump back into Hollow Knight, do Silksong. But I don't think I would go straight into those because you're going to then start to feel Silksong, you'll feel fatigued. Kingdom Come, you're going to feel way too out of your element, I think.
Yeah, and as someone who's gone through this, I did the exact what he's talking about. Is what's gotten me back is 1000X Resist, Absalom, and now Cairn. 3 smaller titles, 15 to 20 hours each. Not a lot to get into them. There's not a big learning curve. If you're loading into Kingdom Come and you're staring, that's like a 70, 80 hour game. You're just like, it's going to take like 15 hours to get good. And get invested, and again, when you're coming off that rush, you might not react as well into the slow onboarding of a giant RPG. You might be like, ugh, this doesn't feel good, which happened to me, as I tried to play Kingdom Come 2 and got a couple hours in and was like, just not into it right this second.
Which is, you never want to do that because like there's been a lot of times that I've caught myself in the wrong moment and then come back to it in the right headspace, and I love whatever it is. So don't force yourself. But I did, while you were talking, I did remember that I wanted to share his kind of messages to me when he beat it, and I did clear this with Jesse that he was cool with me reading this on air. But just to kind of get into his headspace a little bit. But he said, it's been a couple days. Here's my final fight. It wasn't even close one. I did really well. Now I'm contemplating whether I should upgrade to the PS5 version and do it again or move on to something else. I said, brought a huge smile to my face. Hope it felt like it was worth it. Certainly was for me. And he said, there's not many gaming moments that have such a satisfying feeling, but I'll be chasing that feeling from now on. I was literally shaking and my heart was beating so fast my wife was concerned. Haha. I really appreciate your help and motivation to get me through, and I wouldn't have even attempted it, let alone finish it without you, so thanks, man. And I just told him, I was like, dude, I had such a similar experience, like I've said a couple times now, of telling my wife, be like, you cannot talk at this point. You either have to go away or shut up. You can't talk.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's interesting that that he talks about that because playing Cairn, which is about rock climbing, and one of the like subplots of that game is like why do you do it, and it's like that rush, right, when you get to the top of the mountain, and same thing here when you conquer this giant, the Pantheon was your summit, it was your mountain to climb, Jesse, and just the feeling you had when you get on top.
Awesome.
I'm sure that was probably a rare in your lifetime level of rush.
Yeah.
When that happened.
Oh, it is, man. It is. It really is. And like as somebody who's also like I've climbed the tallest mountain in the lower 48 of the United States, so it's like only 14,500 feet. If there's anybody listening overseas that has real mountains in their world, but but yeah, dude, like you get to the top of that thing that you've been just grinding and struggling against, not knowing if you're gonna get there, and you get there. It really is just like this release. Just this crazy endorphin rush release thing. Like I cried on the top of the mountain when the literal mountain I climbed.
Yeah, overwhelming.
Yeah, it's cool. But yeah.
So
right.
Yeah, I think to answer his question, loop it back. Just don't rush it. Just try smaller stuff. They're easier to, like I know you mentioned 9 Souls. That's probably a great game for him to try.
Nine Souls is fantastic. Just know that it's arguably even more intense than Hollow Knight.
Oh.
So like that's the other side of it. Like when you got
maybe right now while you're coded for it.
It's Sekiro cross Hollow Knight is what that game is. So a great, fantastic game. Definitely don't skip on that. But yeah,
well,
definitely not the short, easy thing.
Well, if you remember what one of his favorite games is Sekiro.
I know.
So Sekiro versus Sekiro, you combine Hollow Knight and Sekiro, and it creates Nine Souls.
Yeah.
That should be.
Oh, that's going to be another
list.
one I go back and get a platinum for one day. I was mad when I first played through it because there's one missable trophy that I didn't clear, like that I just didn't check on, and it's like 4 or 5 hours into, and I was like 8 or 10 into it, so I was just like, it's not worth it. And I just wanted to see the game through, and I did. And then by the end of it, I was like, oh, I should have went back because this game's fantastic. But one day,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we should probably get into the show because we have a lot to talk about as we break down this PlayStation State of Play. But we want to hear from you first. Let us know what you thought of the State of Play. Email in. Our email address is betweenthejoysticks@gmail.com. Our Twitter account is @joystickspod. You can DM us there if you like, or you can comment on any of our YouTube videos. That is @betweenthejoysticks. Reach out on any of those platforms, and you'll be read on this show. So let's start big picture. We like to rate these things, A through D. What's your just high-level thoughts? We'll break down the individual announcements, but I think you opened this by saying a great state of play. Is that where you think this lands?
Yes, I do think this is a great state of play. On a show cadence rating, like how well they paced it, how big the games were, everything. I mean, it's hard to look at this one and not give it an A. Especially if we're like using the full range of the scale, right? Like you can't just give an A to something that has Bloodborne 2 and the next every game from everybody, right? If we're just talking about analyzing this, a showcase that has a couple first-party games, a really big third-party game, some indie announcements, a remake trilogy of a beloved series. Like, there's a lot here to get really hyped on. Now, personally, I'm a guy that doesn't get like once I'm in. So seeing sequential trailers for games I already want to play, it leaves me feeling a little bummed out at the end of the day. But don't take away that I thought this wasn't a great show, because it absolutely was. It's just there wasn't a ton in there that got me out of my seat. Like I like the new announcements. I don't particularly go too much for updates. Getting a big Saros update was nice though, because we didn't see a lot of the gameplay from that one. But like I don't need Resident Evil anymore. I don't need.
Well, you won't anymore.
Right, that kind of stuff. So, but I thought it was a very, very well done state of play from Sony for sure.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best curated one I can think in a while, where you just never felt the lull, like checking your watch or anything. Like I think by the time I had checked it, it was like 50 minutes in, like when I finally was like how close are we, because it feels like we've been seeing a lot, not because I'm bored, but because it just was like, wow, there's been like a lot of games going in this thing. And I was just again, everything showed very well. I mean, who would have thought Konami would come here and drop the gauntlet of all the publishers that needed to drop the gauntlet? It was Konami, and they came swinging, and that kind of definitely breathes some life in here when you're talking the return of Castlevania and Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. Just solid, and just ending on a surprise release, a surprise announcement. We last episode we were talking about, well, where would they fit a 2D God of War game? And you fit it right in February. You release it right away. I mean, we'll talk about the game more, of course, but I mean, it helps that it just dropped when it did. Just out now. That is a big impact for a smaller title like this. You don't have to think about very much. A solid show. The future of PlayStation looks very bright.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, that's very evident when you just kind of realize, okay, well, who has signed up to market with Xbox? And nobody. Okay, everybody else. So they have one place to go. I think that's part of the reason that this was 72 minutes. Obviously, they had a lot of things to say in house, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure everybody's knocking on their door saying like, hey, we have an idea for our next trailer. What's your state of play schedule look like, or whatever. I'm sure that they are have no problem filling in the spots a little
Right.
bit easier than they could 4 or 5 years ago, for sure.
Right. And yeah, it'll be interesting when we get the May state of play. Will they continue this? It'll be this level of length, and, people were pinging Insomniac about Wolverine before this even aired, and they said no news till spring. So one would think there's going to be that May state of play,
Yeah, got to.
and with Wolverine in it. And yeah, will that be an hour long now because there's just so many games? Because even there's a bunch of games that weren't here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
We talked about Phantom Blade Zero, we talked about Wolverine, and then.
I mean, I would love to see Sony going forward that, like, what do they do? 3 state of plays a year, usually? Something like that?
Yeah, that sounds right. September.
I don't
May,
want future
February.
state of plays that felt like the Nintendo Direct just did, right? like you have to make sure that doesn't happen. And they've done a good job, in the last couple of years making sure it doesn't get to that level. But, like, there's no reason that you can't filter in, like, even if you have to lean on indie games a little bit more, or whatever the case may be. I think going forward, Sony's state of plays will continue to stay at this level, if not even be a little bit stronger, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, did you say this is an A?
Yeah, I'd give it an A. A personal B, but a definite, like a show A.
Yeah.
That's how I would feel.
An A. Yeah. It can't get much better than this, other than, again, if you're, I don't know, rating it less would be you were setting your expectations somewhere unrealistically, whether you're riding all on your dream announcement, a Bloodborne 2 or whatever, or if you weren't happy with like more remakes or whatever. Mm-hmm. I still think this is an A.
Yeah. Let's get into it, man.
All right. Let's kick things off. PlayStation Studios logo wasn't Marathon like we thought. But the return of Ember Labs, which we should have thought about them. I forget.
Yeah.
Their previous game, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, came out in 2021. This is the sequel to that, Kenna Scars of Kosmora. Your character's older, gets a mount, still looks a lot the same. It's basically a third-person action game, but you get these little creatures that behave kind of like Pikmin, if you are familiar with that franchise. They're kind of like little guys that you can order to do things. They can attack enemies and stuff like that. They weren't really the focus of this as much of the spirit animal was, that little cute little fox-looking thing that turned into a giant fox that you rode.
Yeah.
But definitely expanded environments, looked very open world in some parts when she's riding into town. Really impressive. This comes from, they're called the Greer brothers. They're former animators.
Yeah, like Pixar levels guys.
Yeah, and it shows. I mean, how well this trailer was animated it's incredible. But yeah, a game weren't expecting this year, but is slated for 2026. Where it's going to fit, I don't know, but
I mean, we were talking earlier about nobody in our fantasy video game league picked this up, which was surprising. That would be my only thing, is like I could see this being a potential slippage situation where it's like, it's so pretty. I would imagine that Ember Labs, they found a lot of success with their first game, but like I would say that this game, they're probably looking at as a even more important one, because like I could see Ember Labs being the team that Sony wants to just sign up with them and just go forward. So if they can, maybe Sony's like trying to see like what kind of leap can you guys make? Because you played the first one, I didn't. Mm-hmm. From what I've heard, it was a very good game, but nothing exceptional, like except for maybe the graphics and the way it looked.
Yeah, so the combat was okay.
Yeah, and I believe they even said in this presentation that like, they took a lot of effort to improve the variety of things you can do from a combat standpoint. So yeah. I think this game is going to be very well received, at least critically. But yeah, I think if you see this game, I could see this being when's Grand Theft Auto's date?
November. It'd have to be like,
I was gonna say maybe after, but
summer
like, no.
or September or October, wherever Wolverine lands. So if Wolverine's October, maybe you get this September. You have Marvel Tokon Souls in August, June, July, whatever, and.
Yeah, it's interesting, and we don't want to have this conversation right now. I mean, it's probably a good future one, but like at some point though, it is like the narrative around Grand Theft Auto's release date, since we've been talking about this game, is like everybody has to get out of the way. It's like, yeah, but there has to be something else there. Like I know
it's
maybe
your own peril
for sure, but like there's got to be some analytics out there of like 9-year-old kids aren't short of some really shitty parents out there, aren't getting Grand Theft Auto 6. So, like, there's got to be some world where, like, something exists in this space that could maybe find some success. So I don't know when it will be, but I do think it looks pretty fantastic. Got me even to consider, like, maybe I should go back and play Bridge of Spirits, but, not enough time in the world. So
Yeah, It like I said, it's just okay, but it's very pretty. And I don't know, if you had plans to play this one, maybe you would want to go play you could probably play it for nothing. It's probably on extra.
I'm sure it is. It is. Like, yeah. But like I said, they've had and Ember Labs has had glowing things to say about working with PlayStation since this trailer too. So, like, it seems to be a good relationship. Looking forward to it. We'll keep an eye on it for sure.
I'm sure we'll see it again.
Yes.
All right, next up, we got the Ghost of Yotei Legends DLC announcement. It is coming March 10th of this year, so it's coming, and it'll be 4-player co-op. There will be like 3 different missions you can try and tackle of various difficulty and challenge, and then in April they'll release the raid. And this is like a supernatural world where you're fighting like demon versions of the Yotei 6.
Called yokai, Nick. Get your lore straight.
Yeah, sorry.
Japanese demons are yokai.
Yep, sorry.
Yeah. You should.
Any more thoughts on that? It's a free DLC add-on to Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah, if you own the game, it's free for you. I believe with like they did with the Tsushima is that you can kind of pay a standalone fee if you want it. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy that this is coming back. I know that there was maybe not a lot of people, but a emphatic group of people who played the first Legends and were really into it. As I'm watching the trailer, I just kind of kept reminding myself that, like, my favorite part of these games is not the combat, so I don't want to just go in and do combat things over and over again. But for those who do, doing it the right way again, making it free if you own it, and I'm sure it's one of those. It's going to be there for a little bit if you want it, but you're not going to turn Twitch on and see 100,000 people playing Ghost of Yotei Legends.
No. It's kind of like almost harkens to old video games of like Uncharted's multiplayer mode or Last of Us. These little like you just messed around with them. They're like added bonus, so you didn't try and trade the game in right away. But
there used to be a world where you would load a game in, and your menu would pop up, and it wasn't just like new game, continue, load game. It was like new game, load game, options, like maybe some bespoke multiplayer thing you could go into and stuff like that. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's cool. Not for me.
All right. Next up, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach is coming to PC March 19th. That's coming. So, one of my favorite games of last year. So, if PC is your preferred platform.
Well, if you like them frames and the prettiness, it looks real solid.
But, yeah, we're not keeping score, but we did predict both those last 2 on our last episode.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we get to see the return of 4-Loop, the game from Bad Robots. What's his name?
JJ.
Yeah, the J.J. Abrams and the
J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams.
No, I know. I was just making funny. I said J.J. Abrams.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not correcting you.
And the creator of Left 4 Dead's game, the 4-player third-person shooter. We get a little bit more of what the game is, in which you kind of like pick your path down, like it's almost like that mode that they added to The Last of Us Part 2, that multiplayer mode, where you would like pick which route you wanted to go.
Yeah,
and you would go in these little combat arenas.
It's kind of like Absalom, man. Like
Absalom's exactly the same. Where you kind of like pick your route, so you can pick harder routes or easier routes, and then they kind of culminate in a big boss fight. Again, we saw this game before. It was at the Game Awards, so it hasn't been that long since we've seen it. But any more to add on this one?
I will say, it looked better than I thought it was going to be based on the first trailer. I'm trying to look through at this game not through Arc Raider eyes, because this trailer would have been something that before I played Arc Raider, I'd be like, I have absolutely no want to play this, and I still don't think I do.
Your whole perspective has changed.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a good thing, but it does look like it. You're going in, you're getting loot, you're getting rares and epics, and like I love the color coding system. I know some people are kind of tired of that kind of stuff, but like I could see this being a fun time with friends if it's supported right, and like they're talking about a lot of different things, the big bosses, and there's a lot going on. I could see this game finding some success. I don't know. It's these games are a dime a dozen now. It's
right.
It's hard to,
and the art direction is just not doing it.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't stand out very much.
No.
I mean, all your characters, they look like they're out of like Edge of Tomorrow. They're all in like exoskeletons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is this is a game I had written off before, and I'm not writing it off. I'm still have it off personally, but I think this game could come on and be like, oh yeah, 4 Loop's pretty good.
Okay.
But
all right.
It's interesting. Like it seems like I don't know if it's a product of popularity of games that have like Helldivers and Arc Raiders and things, or if it's a product of development cycles being what they are. It's just like I feel like we're going to see more and more of these like let me take a step back. A lot of games in the past, if they were multiplayer focused, that was a bad thing, right? If you didn't have a campaign, if you didn't have some other way to kind of continue playing this, where it's like we're getting a lot of these games now where it's like maybe it's just you go in, you do a thing, you get out. You go in, you do a thing, you get out, because it's just an easy formula. It's easy to develop for. We don't have to spend 4 years trying to thread this narrative line. You can just go in, have fun, and get out. And so it's kind of like old school video game feel, which
and a push for it's not you versus other people. It's the you versus
that is something
PvE,
that I prefer
versus computer enemies. It definitely seems to be a push for a lot of games like this. All right. Next up, another look at Pragmata. I mean, it was at the Nintendo Partner Direct. I don't think we really need to add much
didn't
more.
Need that there.
And then next up, we got another look at 007 First Light. Again, coming May 27, 2026 from IO Interactive, the developers of the Hitman series. Probably its best trailer to date, I'd say.
Yeah, easily.
It's coming along, and it's looking better and better, I think. More of a focus on what makes James Bond great, and just fancy locales, beautiful women, take it or leave it, young James Bond. But I don't know, looked great. But we've seen this game a couple of times at this point. So
yeah, I mean, I've said this on the show. I've said this Nick ad nauseum now, but I mean, I'm calling it now. This is this year's Great Circle. I think it looks really good. I just worry about the type of game that it is, because I don't like Hitman personally. I don't like slow, methodical, like spy your way through this and get the intel and slink through the rafters or the vents. I don't like that style of gameplay, so it's hard for me to get excited about. But I also was not excited about Indiana Jones because I didn't want to do first-person melee combat, but that wasn't the reason that game was great. So there might be something here. I think it's going to review very well. I think that the people who are into the Hitman games are going to have absolutely a lot of fun with it. I did find it interesting that despite the last time we saw this game, they had a whole big reveal of him even coming out, but Lenny Kravitz as a villain. Either they're hiding him because they want to keep him hidden again, or they just realized that maybe people weren't super jazzed about Lenny Kravitz as the villain and kind of hid him in this trailer. But I think this game will be a success for sure.
Okay. All right. Next up, another look at Resident Evil Requiem.
Let me just move on.
Yeah.
Like, what else? I don't have anything to say.
No. And we really shouldn't. It's going to get, by probably the next episode, this will have reviews out. So we'll know more. And yeah.
I did see that apparently the length is about 18 hours, 9 with Leon, 9 with Grace.
Well,
so,
okay.
That's
pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's fine. I mean, that seems about standard length.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little longer. I mean, for
like 7 and 8. Like how long was 8?
I don't know. I honestly, I was just kind of comparing to the dual protagonist ones of like 2, where it's like 2 you can get through in 5.5, 6 hours of each playthrough. So just kind of comparing it to that. But yeah, it's probably similar to 8.
Wow, yeah, Village, is about 13 hours if you do the side quests.
That's one of the reasons I'm kind of surprised you've never played those. Like I just, never played 7 or 8. But
interesting.
Okay. And 7 is 9.5 main story, 12 main and extra. So yeah, a little bit beefier, but it also could be padding. Like they're promoting the game. They're not being realistic with it. So
okay. Well, again, we'll talk more Resident Evil next week, and possibly 2 weeks from now we'll have impressions on the show by somebody. Yeah. So we're hot on this one.
Oh, yeah.
All Next up, we saw Legacy of Kain: Defiance Remastered, a remake of the old game. This was kind of this and another game we'll talk about kind of showed off like a lot of like extra things they added to it that are kind of neat, like skins that weren't in the game, lost levels, photo mode. Kind of nice little package if you're interested in this stuff. But I have
played 0 minutes of Legacy of Kain in my life.
Right.
So I wish I had more to say. But
all right. Next up, we got the strategy RPG Brigadine Abyss, which is a series. It's a JRPG series. I don't know. I've never heard of this franchise before.
Yeah, and if you can get a franchise that neither Nick or I have heard of, you're treading into some pretty obscure areas.
But this looks like it's a tactical RPG, so kind of like in the vein of like a Fire Emblem. It's kind of like a grid-based game. It looks exactly like Fire Emblem, to be honest, like 100%, like is the point-to-point comparison.
Yeah, I mean, the first one came out in 1998 on PlayStation. It's by Atlas. So, I mean, there could be some, like, this could be that game that sneaks by and we all go, wait, what, 89? What? Why? What is this? And then, but you have to be into that type of thing.
Yeah. So coming sometime this year, but no release date on that one. But I mean, again, this is our first time seeing it, so we're going to see more.
My dad would like this stuff. He loves those, like, old school war games with hexagons, and, the tanks and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's got that hexagon grid system going.
All right. Next up is a pretty funny section of video where Koei Tecmo came out to talk about Dead or Alive 6 Last Round, which is them basically making the game free to play, and it's going to be re-released coming June 25th. Dead or Alive 6 is an old game, but then they took the time to come back and announce that they are working on a Dead or Alive sequel. And don't worry, we're focusing on boobs because the biggest of teases in this was a close-up of Katsumi's character from the franchise, boobs.
Wait, you like boobs?
I
love boobs.
Did you ever play the old games?
No.
So it's like comical, right?
I know, yeah.
Like the jiggle physics of like it's like almost like a spring moving. Like it's like like if you jump up and down and just constant moving, almost like gravity doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's just comedic.
They know what butters their bread.
Yeah, exactly. And then why they showed off the photo mode coming to Dead or Alive 6 too. They know that they're known for their very busty and sexy characters, but
I got a question for you though, Nick, and maybe I should have asked this earlier. When it comes to fighting games, is it the fighting community that's so into fighting games, that they just play a lot of different ones? Or are there people out there that are just like, no, Dead or Alive 6 is my fighting game? Because I look at this and Virtua Fighter and King of Fighters, and then I look at Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat. I'm like, why are you guys over here? Like, what is it about these? Like, is there just a group of people that love those, like, kind of chunky Tekken style, like, low kick, high kick, pa? And it's just like, every time I see these other fighting games, how are you still alive when countless studios and developers and games get closed? It's weird to me. Like, who is buying these? I guess I don't know.
I mean, the thing about fighting games is that they're like prime for microtransactions, right? So you probably have,
especially with boobs.
Yeah, especially with boobs, and so costumes probably drive a lot of Dead or Alive's business. Yeah. But I don't know. If you're into fighting games, they don't. The one thing is they come out and then they become a platform, right? Like Street Fighter 6 is still getting characters years and years later. They just stick around, and they must have like a dedicated fan base that's still pumping money into it.
Oh,
So
okay, well,
but yeah, you would think like it's a crowded market, with Tokon and
any Arc System
Invincible
game, or
it's like
2XKO, and it's just there's always a couple that come out.
That game ain't gonna be around much longer.
Probably longer than Dead or Alive 6, but that's what I mean. But Dead or Alive, I don't know. It's weird. Fighting games are weird. I don't play them.
I'm alluding to there's a lot of layoffs at the 2KO team, so it sounds.
Oh yeah.
So it sounds like that's not going well. All right. As predicted, I did say Mina the Hollower would be here, but I did say it would have a release date, and it doesn't.
Crazy that it doesn't.
But we got another look at the game. Again, we talked about it last week from Yacht Club Games, coming sometime in spring of 2026. But there is a demo out, so if you want to check this game out and see if it's for you, you can.
Yeah, they might be great at developing games, or at least the specific kind, because Shovel Knight's amazing. But worst project managers in the biz, like I still cannot fathom having a release date for 2024, then pushing it back 11 months to Halloween, and then getting 2 weeks to Halloween or 3 weeks, and then then pushing it. And then re-releasing it or re-revealing it, and it's still not having a date. That is just baffling to me.
It must be nice to be successful.
Well, they probably just don't want it. They're like, look, we're gonna have it out this spring. We don't want to say a specific date again because we don't want to have another thing happen. So we're just gonna say spring until it's like gold. Yeah. But yeah, I want to play you, Mina. Come hang out.
Yeah, I know. It'll be here.
Are you playing Mina the Hollower?
No.
Okay.
No interest. All right. Next up, we got DLC for Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Announcement of the show?
A game that came out in 2024. What's that studio's name? Nomada.
I'm so good at these.
Nomada, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nomada Studios.
Yeah.
A game John and I rated a 10 each. We love it very much.
So 20 out of 20 here at between the joysticks.
Yeah, it's getting Neva Prologue coming out this week, February 19th. $3.
Ooh, sorry. Timeout. Jesse, great one maybe if you're looking for something chill and slow.
Yeah, Neva and Grease are both very good 4-hour games.
Yeah.
Like the commitment's nothing.
If you like dogs, especially good.
But yeah, nothing really to add here. I don't think this is enough to get me to go back.
Oh, I'm gonna play it again. Yeah, I'll play it.
You're gonna play this DLC?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for $3, it's going to be an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. Like, I'll do a night with it. Like,
okay.
I mean, and like, during the trailer, there's a new enemy or something. And one of my favorite movies, and I think the greatest animated movie that's ever made, is Spirited Away. And this enemy looks exactly like No Face.
Oh, okay.
So it just says like that's weird. But yeah, I'll check this one out. I'll have impressions for sure. But it comes out in 3 days, which is cool.
Yeah. It's here. A game that's already out is the Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition, a remake of PlayStation 1 was the first game?
Yeah.
And all the other versions that came out. This is another package that just has so much in it. So if you're a fan of Rayman and want to check it out, it's out now, so you can...
I played the shit out of Rayman 1 on my family's PC back in the day, and it was so hard. I don't know if I was a little kid that just didn't know how to play games. Like, I kind of want to check this out again from a nostalgia standpoint and just to truly see. But I probably won't unless if it comes out in like 80% off sale eventually. But a lot of nostalgia tied to that one, but I want a different Rayman, please.
Right.
Please and thank you.
All right, another game double dipping, Beast of Reincarnation, which we just talked about because it was in the Xbox Developer Direct this year. It's back. This time it's got a release date. A month later, it's good to go to announce its release date, August 4th of this year. Again, we've talked about it on the show. We'll see if Game Freak can do a Souls-like this to critical and financial success. But
how many studios can you think of that like started off, did one series for a long time, and then like Guerrilla's the only one I can kind of think of where they did Killzone Forever, and they're like, we're gonna try a different thing, and you're like, holy shit, it worked out.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be interesting just from that standpoint of it's very rare that you'll get a 30-year-old studio that doesn't do much else, and then to completely flip themselves on their head and do a full-blown 3D action Devil May Cry style game, so we'll see.
Okay. All right. And then this leads us into the Konami segment, which was really out there when they had, I don't remember the guy's name, but he worked for PlayStation, and he was like, oh man, when Konami showed us the list of games they wanted to bring to the state of play, he was like, oh my God, you guys got to be in this. And it's like,
yeah.
What are you going to have? And the first thing that comes to mind is the MGS Master Collection, finally getting Volume 2, and we're getting it. It is going to include Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, which is only playable on PS3 right now.
The most famous landlocked game.
Yep, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker as well, and do a bundle coming August 27th of this year. And pretty wild to see MGS4 again.
Yeah, I would love to get some information on what took so long. Like, because I know, like,
cell processor.
Right, that's what everybody always says. It's the cell processors, the cell architecture, or something like that. But like, I don't know. It's just I find it strange that like this one specific huge game was just kind of like, yeah, we can't figure it out. It's like, all right, maybe they literally just had to remake it from the ground up. But you going back? You gonna do this one again?
I would love to do this go back and do this. I don't know if I'm gonna buy this or maybe borrow this or figure it out, but I would love to at least get one playthrough of MGS4. Yeah. Through to just to see if it holds up. That's my curiosity. I hold 4 very high up there, but
yeah,
in the franchise.
Just put on get a nice bucket of popcorn. You got a lot of cutscenes to sit through, man.
Yeah, the ending of that game is like 3 hours long of cutscenes.
Yeah, it's such an interesting game to me, for me personally, just because like I bought my PlayStation. The PlayStation 3 was like the first big purchase I bought with my own money, and so I was obviously just so excited to play it. And I got Ninja Gaiden Black and the Orange Box, and I think I got Metal Gear Solid 4. Great selection of games that I picked up. I mean, let me say, I had taste even as a 17.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But played the shit out of this one, and it's so funny. Like I've never been into Metal Gear like I was in this one moment. So yeah, I wonder if there was something about that game. Was it nostalgia? I don't know, because I remember talking to the arms dealer. What'd you say his name was? Drebin.
Yep.
And him and his little monkey, doing all that stuff, but I didn't know who Snake was as a kid. Like I just played it.
That's the wild part because MGS4 is like just a culmination.
It's a greatest hits kind of.
Yeah, it's a culmination of all the games before it and kind of ties off all the loose storylines that have come before it. It's interesting to go there without any of that knowledge and just.
Yeah. I think I just like upgrading my guns. I don't know.
I mean, it is a very good game. I mean, you had the Octo camo, you had all the extra gadgets. It definitely was like the precursor to like MGS5 and other games. It moved the gameplay forward to where it felt a lot better than it had previously in those games. So
for some reason, I have a specific memory with that game too. Of like that was right when I started going to like IGN.com and looking at things and be like, oh, it's a 10. Whoa! And like at that time, I think IGN had only given out like 7 10s before. They weren't out giving fucking What was that game that got a 10 Deathloop? Not giving 10s to Deathloop and things like that. But yeah, a big announcement for sure. I'm sure there's many people that this was their announcement of the show.
Do you remember the bad guys from that game?
No.
The Beauty and the Beast unit?
No.
All the sexy ladies that you had to fight?
No.
And that you could unlock photo mode with them?
No.
Oh, wow.
No. I remember a monkey, and I remember crawling through a microwave. And I remember the intro. That's about it. That's about it.
So like toward the end of the game, the beginning of the game, yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I would love to check that out. But they're not bringing over the multiplayer from MGS4, but they will have the multiplayer for Peace Walker, so you can play that with friends. Still.
Sweet.
So a great package.
Did you say the date on that one?
August 27th.
Okay, cool.
You'll be able to jump back in to MGS4. All right. Next up, Castlevania. Almost like someone on this show predicted at the beginning of the year this franchise would come back. And it's coming back with Castlevania Belmont's Curse, a 2D Castlevania game coming from Evil Empire and...
Oh, man, you're doing this off the top of your head? God.
Motion Twin and Evil Empire.
Yeah, and like Motion Twin is specifically said like with like advising from them or something. So I don't know if they're doing development, but I don't care. They're involved. That's a great thing. Yeah.
And what we got is a good minute and a half look at this game, and it looks really good. Yeah. I was particularly impressed with the audio of how every time you use the whip, like it had a good sound effect that felt like, that's what I want a whip to feel like. Same with Indiana Jones, right? You really have to capture some of the audio design of certain weapons, and the whip obviously has that iconic sound to it. But this looks incredible. It looks really, really good.
Oh, it's got such big shoes to fill too, and they knew that. They knew that. Like, if okay, we want to do another Castlevania game, a 2D old school one, but like literally every single entry into this specific part of the franchise has been like, 9s, top tier, greatest thing. And then you got the one that looms over it all, which is Symphony of the Night, which people hold in regard as one of the greatest 2D games of all time. So,
yeah, the art style is really good. It's like this. It's 3D, but it's got like this just enough of a shade to it, like an art style to it that's just, like everything just really pops on the screen every time he's using like super moves or abilities. It's just like, wow, it reminds me of Shinobi.
Yeah, I say this unironically, but I do personally think this was the coolest announcement of the show. And I know that not a lot of people are going to share that sentiment. Not a lot of people are going to be like, why? It's just another one of these. But I do think just coming back to a legendary franchise, like, what's the name of the genre, Nick? Metroidvania, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, it was the same reason that when Dread came out, I was like, oh, they're doing another 2D Metro. That's a big deal. And so, you know, I'm stoked for it. I hope people realize that it's, you know, not something to just look past. But yeah, I'll be checking this one out for sure. I don't see how I couldn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
for sure.
I do like this Polygon article headline. It says, which I have a little umbrage with because I don't think they're making it, quote unquote. But it says the Dead Cells creators are making a new Castlevania game because sometimes the world is just. So it's a good match.
Well, you know, when we talked about like Drinkbox doing the God of War 2D game, you're like, oh, that would be so amazing. Well, it's like, yeah, if you give Castlevania to an established indie studio that's proven in this area.
Well, and Dead Cells had a Castlevania DLC too, so
right?
Very much like they've been probably friends with Konami people for a while.
Yeah. So no release date, but it says coming this year, and yeah, just a game to keep an eye out for. I really recommend you go out and see that trailer. Like you're looking around.
I got distracted. Really pretty Olympic snowboarder. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it might be Chloe Kim. I'm not sure.
All right. Next up, we got to look at Silent Hill Townfall. Another Silent Hill game coming from Annapurna Interactive and Screenburn. Also coming in 2026. It shows a little bit of the protagonist Simon as he's kind of stuck in a town that's not Silent Hill. But it looks like a first-person gameplay. You know, a lot of similar Silent Hill type enemies to be seen here. What did you think about this one?
I dig it. And I didn't think I was going to. You know, and when I say I don't know if I'm going to play it, but I like the idea of Silent Hill even removing itself even a little bit further from combat. Like those games are so atmospheric and so immersive when you're in the fog or trying to get through a specific part of the game. But like every time you get into a big combat encounter, it feels like I kind of just get the wind taken on me a little bit. Like I don't really want to do this. And so it seems like maybe this is kind of a step more towards a walking sim puzzle oriented first person thing. And one of the, I think Resident Evil did such a good job adapting into first person. I don't see why Silent Hill couldn't do that as well. So yeah, I think this one looks pretty cool and wait to see a little bit more information about it. But, you know, Konami, maybe they're just the new Capcom. They just understand the assignments now.
Yeah, I mean they're back in the games hard as these last couple of games we talked about. Like they're coming back with all their franchises. What do you think of them making Silent Hill an annual franchise? Like
too much. No, I don't want that.
Because I mean now we're in Silent Hill 2 remake and do Silent Hill F and now into Townfall, and one is going to assume as my other Konami prediction earlier this year is that another remake of Silent Hill 1's coming. Yeah. Too much?
Yeah, you could have too much of anything. You know, you could have too much God of War. You can have too much Last of Us. Like,
how dare you?
Yeah, you can.
Never.
I know it's crazy. But what my hope is that, you know, if it was not very long ago that Konami was absent from the world. Konami was making pachinko machines, you know, over in Asia, and they didn't care about video games anymore. And so we've obviously seen a change of sentiment in that company, and it's my hope that they were internally like, look, we got to go hard in the paint at the start of this. We need to remind people what these franchises are, you know, appease the old people who got us here, right? We're going to remake Silent Hill 2 first because that's what got us famous, and then we're going to do our own thing and maybe kind of milk it that way, you know, same way that they've kind of handled no, they don't really. I mean, Metal Gear to an extent, I guess, where you're kind of doing the collections, but then we're going to make Delta, which is a more beefy project. I don't think they're going to go back to Metal Gear anytime soon or whatever. But basically what I'm trying to say is I think front-loaded a lot so that we can just kind of
tell people, yes, we're back, and then they can maybe take the pedal off a little bit and then start to maybe massage and find the right projects down the road a little bit.
Well, yeah, it almost seems like if what Konami's doing now is almost kind of like a template that Ubisoft probably should be doing, right? You double down on your core franchises. You bring back your classic games. Maybe do smaller projects with your titles. Start spreading it out, getting it to more people. Letting other teams with your IPs, and maybe you can slowly get back in the biz.
Yeah,
and then get everyone prepped for, because I do think their own Metal Gear is gonna come. It seems like that's gearing up. You're releasing a lot of Metal Gear right now.
Well, if they got the balls to do the Castlevania thing, much smaller scale than Metal Gear, but yeah, they could be ramping up for it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind a Metal Gear that returned to like the PlayStation 1 perspective, a little simpler, or remake, or maybe just remake the original Metal Gear, and make that a 3D Metal Gear game, the one that was on NES I'm referring to, not the Solid series. Yeah, there's ways they can go this, but it feels like they're doing all the right things here.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's saying anything bad about Konami right now. That's crazy.
Which is crazy, yeah. Yeah.
But they weren't done. They also had Darwin's Paradox. We've seen this game before. This is the game where you're a little octopus and it's a puzzle platformer, very cute art direction. Think like Pixar. Your octopus is very animated. Think gameplay wise of like an Inside or Limbo. They're not the only ones that make these type of games. That same studio.
Yeah, I know. Why am I struggling with like Little Nightmares?
Yeah, right.
That
There
kind
you
of
go.
Stuff.
But the demo is out now. You can check this game out for yourself if you want to play it. And then they ended the weakest announcement was their final announcement of this segment, in that they're making their own JRPG called Rev Noir. There really isn't much to say. This trailer was as generic as it gets. It looks like there's some cataclysmic event that you reset, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's see more. I mean, it's just TBA. This is like in development basically. Yeah. So 2027, 2028, who knows?
Games that look like this are either the biggest next thing you've never heard of before, like
right.
the Persona, or it's the Hack Dot series, and you're like, oh, that's just gonna fade into obscurity, and we don't worry about it. But I didn't like this trailer. Just when they revealed the title, I was not confident that was the title, and it's just like bad trailer structure. Like,
right.
What is this? Okay, Rev.Noir. Is that what is that? Is that the name? And then
right.
It was, and you don't know till later, and I don't. So yeah, that one. Wasn't a super big fan of the reveal.
All right. Next up, we got another look at Star Wars Galactic Racer, a game we have seen before a couple times now since its announcement at the Game Awards. Once again, this trailer ends on another iconic Star Wars character and a pod racer. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but yeah, another look at the game. It looks really good. I'm so shocked. Like, not only is this return of Star Wars pod racer, but just the return of futuristic racers seems good. Like there should be an F-Zero game, there should be Wipeout, all these other dormant futuristic racers are they're just non-existent, and this is kind of filling a couple voids. So it looks good.
Yeah,
I can't complain. A couple cutscenes of like what a story would look like. You had some guy in what I would assume is the player character's face being like, "Oh, you cheated, blah blah blah. I'm gonna put you in carbonite." But yeah, no release date, coming still this year, but continues to look impressive.
Is it this guy?
Ben
Quadineros.
Yep, that was him.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, not a big Star Wars dude, but I think it does objectively look like a fun racing time, and so happy for those pod racer fans for sure, man.
All right, and that gets us to the next reveal here.
What's this one? You're laughing. What is it? Oh, this one.
I like this. I like doing this. John, explain the start of the trailer.
Hold on.
I don't,
the start. I don't know. Hold on. I don't even remember the very beginning.
It's like looking over a battlefield, and then it kind of you have an evil lady, of course, and then it kind of zooms in on the player character.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, we're holding a heart. Ooh, I don't remember that evil lady. Okay. Yeah, the bird that drinks the tears. So obviously it looks super Chinese. You're like, okay, what is this? What is this?
She's got an evil army.
Yep, stabbing people through a sword.
But the army's scared. It's afraid of the protagonist.
And you keep seeing this thing like land on, like it's like a monster that keeps landing on people like a velociraptor. But it's not a velociraptor. No. This is a 9 foot tall, 10 foot tall chicken man, rooster man.
Yep.
I don't know, man. He looks gnarly, but yeah. And then you all of a sudden you realize, oh, that's my character, and you are dynasty warring your way through hordes and hordes and hordes of enemies.
Yeah,
but it looks good.
It does look good.
It just looks way better than something like Dynasty Warriors. And there were moments in the trailer where it doesn't seem like you're only doing that exclusively,
right?
Which is a good thing. But I don't know how to feel about this. This is wild.
So what we're talking about is Project Windless, a game coming from Krafton. They have a studio in Montreal that's working on this, and this is a adaptation of a Korean novel called The Bird That Drinks Tears.
Oh, it's Korean? Okay.
Well, the studio's in Montreal, but the what they're adapting is Korean.
Right, yeah, it's the fantasy novel is Korean. Okay.
Yeah. But that's why they should just call this game The Bird That Drinks Tears.
Dude, they should. They absolutely should. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Because that is a gnarly title that fits with the ridiculousness of this. This is like,
and this is what this game, I don't know how to feel, because like anytime they're showing him like in combat with thousands of characters, I go, I don't want this. But there's so many other moments of him like just walking slowly through a battlefield, or it looks like maybe like an Uncharted temple,
right?
Or like something. There's something more to this game besides just mowing down hordes and hordes of enemies, and that's intriguing because like if there is this. You know, you're doing this and you're fighting for 10 minutes and you can bounce out and take things a little slower. I could maybe find that pretty fun loop.
That kind of reminds me of like Shadow of War. You know that's a good point. That game that like had like it was like a third person platformer like Arkham game, but then it had these big battle scenes as you tried to take down these enemy fortresses. I don't know, but I mean the game makes a fucking impression.
Yeah, it does, man.
And so it is something to keep an eye on. I think it's because it feels God of War-ish. Like your character is just so outlandish. Like, yeah. And by God of War-ish, I mean like Grease trilogy, which we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
But it looks like Grease. He's like a Grease trilogy Kratos.
Like he's like going after a god of some kind.
Yeah, he's just so like it's power fantasy to a 10, it looks. My blood's pumping just watching the trailer right now.
KFC, Kratos fueled chicken. Black Myth Wukong. Sorry, I'm reading different names. I'm gonna definitely keep an eye on this one. I would love nothing more than this game comes out and it's fantastic and people just want to play it. I don't know if it's gonna get that way, but either way, this is why video games are great, man. Like this is a type of game that if you think wouldn't get made nowadays, everybody's trying to chase the dollar, trace the trends or whatever. And meanwhile, this Korean studio is like, whatever. We're just gonna make a giant chicken, and seems like a game that you'd rent on PS2 for a weekend with your friends. Right, that was fucking wild.
Yeah,
but Project Windless, man.
Yeah, no release date, TBA. So it'll show up eventually somewhere. But a good first impression for sure. Very memorable. All right. Next up, we had another new game announcement called Yako Shinobi Ops. This is a new game from Acquire and Shueisha Games. This is a cooperative stealth game that has you playing an isometric camera. It looks like you are tasked with infiltrating a site, and you have the pick of 4 unique ninjas who each have individual abilities. Looks good. For a first look, it's coming in 2027. So, I'm just gonna write it off until it shows up again. But I thought it looked impressive. A lot of cones of vision kind of stuff, but actively walking through it's like a Metal Gear mission.
Have you ever played or heard of Mark of the Ninja?
Yeah.
So this looks like that to me.
Yeah, but that's 2D.
Right. No. Yeah. This is a 3D version, like Mark of the Ninja.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure. Yeah. Which was that was like a 90 on Metacritic when that came out. It came out a long time ago, but that's the kind of the vibe I got for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So good first look, and again, it just continuing the cadence of this, of just games showing up and showing well, showing gameplay, no CG teaser trailers or anything like that. But yeah, looks great. All right. Next up, we got another look at Control Resonant, one of our most anticipated games here on Between the Joysticks, since we're big fans of the original Control. And again, this was at the Game Awards, this is a pseudo sequel. It's not Control 2, but it's something different where you play Jesse's brother Dylan, and he has his own service weapon. They actually called it out in the trailer. I forget what it's called.
I think it's called the dildo. I think that's what I heard him say.
I hate you. It had another cool, unique name. But anyway, they kind of showed what like a segment of gameplay looks like, and it is pretty trippy.
It's
not
the
only
aberrant.
The aberrant, yeah.
The aberrant.
And and it has the ability to transform into a giant hammer, dual blades, a single blade. But they kind of showed off a lot of the traversal, which is pretty gnarly because the world, it looks like something out of like Inception. Like all the buildings are like folded in on each other. So you have skyscrapers above you, skyscrapers below you, and then through the mechanics, I think you click in L3, you just kind of like, gravitize yourself to whatever you want, but it kind of just flips the camera. All of a sudden I'm running along the floor and then I R3 to the ceiling and then the camera just goes bloop, and you're on the ceiling, and it looks pretty gnarly. So we got to see some gameplay, some more combat, which we've seen before, and then it kind of ended on a boss fight with a dancer with bloody feet, and looked great, looked very stylistic. I will say this is kind of the first time I've questioned what the gameplay loop is on this. And I wonder how mission based this is and how replayable this is. If it's roguelike or something like that. It's hard to tell. But with a lot of the gameplay segments we've seen have been this cityscape.
Right.
And I wonder if you start, you do a run, you go through the cityscape, you fight, and then you work your way to a boss and rinse and repeat. I don't know if that's what's happening, but I don't know. It just something tapped me on the shoulder and said something is a little off here.
Yeah, I mean, my main takeaway when I was watching this, or my first question, I guess, was I remember hating the map of Control and not knowing how to navigate the old house where I felt like it should have been a little bit easier. And I don't know how the hell you're going to do that with this landscape. Like how you're going to make an intuitive map to let me get to where I need to get, if it is some sort of open world or, what? Nick jumped in his pants. His seat.
Yeah, I did my. Well, they had a different. It looks like they have a different trailer, or maybe I missed this. Maybe I missed.
I don't know, I'm watching something I feel like I've never seen either, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I feel like the trailer on PlayStation's website is different than what we saw, but maybe it's not. I don't know. It just showed that the aberrant. I don't know. It turned into a whip in this trailer I just saw, and I was like, "Oh,
okay."
The year of the whip.
Year of the whip, man. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I think you might be onto something because it would be. I mean, not that Control. The first one was open world. It was, it's like Raccoon City, the police department. You're navigating a building. So you could navigate a subsection of a city, I suppose, where, there could be doors you can go into. Like, the mission when he's walking around the trailer is like investigate the theater. So you get to the theater. Now the theater can kind of become a level, right? Or something like that.
Which is very how
Silent Hill's kind of like that.
Like in Alan Wake 2, the Alan Wake segments were kind of like that. You had that little hub area, and then you would go into the buildings. And
yeah, so I mean, it could be something like that where you're kind of just slowly getting introduced to different areas. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I think that's a very astute observation.
Looks really good though.
I'm stoked. I was kind of concerned when I was watching it that you wouldn't be, just because it seems very.
Oh, I'm still into it. I just wonder. I'm concerned about the loop. I don't want it to be.
I just love Melee.
How many times I'm doing this exact thing of traversing buildings and then taking out all these enemies to just go into a building for a random boss fight.
As long as they bring they got to bring the weird. That's what, control the amount of different, I'm sure there's going to be a ridiculous amount of notes and things to collect and get the lore and all that stuff.
And we didn't get a release date before this, but it's also coming pretty hot. Like, 2 years ago in October, we got Alan Wake 2. Last year they got FBC Firebreak, and then now they're saying, oh, yeah, we got another game this year. It's like, magicians are over at Remedy to just keep pumping a game out every year.
Especially for a team that notoriously struggles with money.
Right.
They always seem to be, struggling. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm stoked to play it. I mean, I love melee combat. It strikes me as kind of a little bit faster, Souls kind of game. So I'm definitely in. But
oh yeah, huh? I think we're missing a game in our list. Remember that? Did you remember that Crimson Moon game? The two Gothic guys.
Oh yeah.
The co-op game. That's not in our list. Well, we'll talk about that now. Yeah, Crimson Moon. And we got our list from Gemini AI, so thanks AI. Yeah, it's a cooperative action RPG. It's very, it looks like you play as Nephilim, which are like angels / humans. And as they fight, it looks like very demons. But yes, it's a third-person action game that all of a sudden you realize, oh, there's a second player here, and it's a co-op game. But just announced, no release date. Or no, later this year, but no release date. Yeah,
this will be a game that lives and dies solely on how fun it is.
Right.
There's absolutely no story in this game that's going to matter at all.
Right.
The graphics, while I think it looks good, it seems like it's a PS4 game for sure.
Yeah.
But if you have fun systems with that, allow people to play co-op and bounce off of each other, or have interesting mechanics, like it could be. I could see us wanting to go through and play something like that. I just, and there's a trailer, like it looks like they're approaching a tower, so it could be some sort of, I don't know. You're just trying, like a roguelike almost, maybe, where you're just trying to climb this tower and get as far as you can. I don't know, but yeah, look different, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's from Probably Monsters, and again, just coming later this year. But yeah, it looks all right. Definitely not a highlight of this show. But
yeah, but I applaud any game that comes out that has co-op in mind, because that doesn't happen very much.
Okay, all right. Next up, we had a kind of the first CG trailer. I feel like, and you're watching this. A guy's ordering guns. He's getting fitted for a suit, and you're like, "Is that John Wick? That looks like John Wick." And yeah, it's John Wick.
Yeah, I'm fucking back.
It doesn't have a title, just Untitled John Wick game. But
it's probably just John Wick.
Right.
I think you just make it John Wick.
Right, exactly. But the John Wick movie franchise has always felt like a video game, between its gun fu and other mechanics, that it would only make sense to bring that into a video game itself. And there was John Wick Hex, but this is like the first, it seems like a bigger project.
Like a puzzle game.
Coming from Saber. It would have been nice if it was. We thought maybe this is from Slow Clap, who did Sifu, but no, this is Saber, who's doing so many games. Who knows?
It's like the new Embracer, I feel like. We just say their name too much.
Right.
Right. Yeah, do you have interest in this one?
Oh, yeah. I'll keep an eye on a John Wick game, but no, I Saber, I can't be bothered unless the review says otherwise. So
yeah, I hear you.
All right, and that's kind of it. We get into the PlayStation focus section of the announcement. So everything from here on out, it's PlayStation. And first up, we got another look at Marathon. Again, coming March 5th. We knew that, but it is also getting, John and I debated last episode whether they're going to do this, where they're going to give, everyone access to this game before so they could get their hands on it. And they are. They're doing a giant server slam the 2 weeks before it releases. So, if you have PlayStation Plus, you're in.
Yeah, I might
check it out.
I might check it out if I got nothing going on. And it does. I think it does make sense. Like, we were debating it, but thinking about it a little further, it's like, okay, so you do the beta and people don't like it, and then it's not going to work out or whatever. You don't do the beta, people are going to go, they're hiding something, and they're not going to show up anyway.
Right.
So like either way, people are going to get their hands on it, and before you get your verdict of if you get to live or die, if what's his name? What's Joaquin Phoenix's character's name in Gladiator? Commodus. Commodus is doing the thumb thing, and you don't know. Like, people are going to get their hands on it either way, so you might as well slam the servers, make sure that the launch is good.
Right.
What
do you think of the trailer? They're definitely they definitely showcased the different vibe. Yeah. Definitely a more horror-looking vibe to this.
I maintain that I think this game is going to be more successful than we initially thought when it was first shown. But man, do I feel like I have a headache just looking at those colors for 5 minutes. It's so bright and vibrant and just sharp that it's and seems to be sweaty, very sweaty.
Yes,
and that's as a liker, I won't say lover, but a liker of Arc Raiders now. It's like, yeah, I still don't ever want to be sweaty. So the idea that it's just you're going in and you're you're going balls to the walls the whole full time. It's like, I don't know, but
I wonder. I mean, you'll know through the server slam, but if they're not paying attention to Arc Raiders, they're dumb. Mm-hmm. So if John can load in solo with other solo players, maybe there won't be an onus, but with the first-person shooters,
that's the thing. You're going to get a different group.
Yeah.
I would imagine if you were to somehow able to take the age group of everybody who plays Arc Raiders and everybody who's going to play Marathon, you're probably looking at a 10-year gap of age, younger towards Marathon, which means shittier because young kids suck. They're mean. They're mean. I just had a birthday party with my son and his 9-year-old friends. They're mean, Nick. They don't care about anything.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, and will the community respond? Like, I think one of the big stories going into Arc Raiders were people not killing each other. They're helping each other out. Will this
Marathon? It starts to be like, yeah, I'm friendly. Like, you're just gonna, it's gonna be a lot of that. I feel like. But,
yeah.
But again, like you said, maybe they do it the right way. They pay attention to matchmaking and like an aggressive. Hopefully, there's like an aggressiveness thing, but also it just might not be a game that's designed to be played that way. It's like, no, Marathon's meant to be played sweaty, and that's what it is, like it or not.
Right.
And that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. I like it when developers don't. I'm a From Software guy. I like it when developers don't kowtow to what their fans are like. Well, listen to your fans, but
Right. I get what you're saying.
I'm gonna stop talking now.
All right, we'll get you to talk about Saros, which was shown next. Again, coming April 30th, we get a look at kind of the hub world where you have kind of like people to talk to, but we also got to look at the permanent progression system, the ability to fast travel to other biomes.
Yeah, and they understood the home assignment.
And that you can add they showed like a screen. It was like challenge modifiers, and you had to get it in a certain range. Like you couldn't make it too simple or too hard. So it had like a little range where it's like, okay, this is balanced. You can launch into this world like that. And then they also focused on different. I forget what their exact term was for the world, like harder. Like it was all like red and had like it was creepier.
It was when the eclipse was on.
You're right. Yeah, you could activate the eclipse, and then the world itself changed and became more harder. But yeah, the game continues to look.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so fucking fun. I mean, I maintain that like this is so similar to Returnal, but I don't care.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't need to see anything more of this. I was fucking in the day that they announced it. Housemarque was making another game, right? I will say, I think if you and I need to try and remember, I don't think it matters. Nobody cares. But Saros, they kept saying. They all kept saying Saros.
All right, Saros.
Which just I like Saros better. But no, it looks great, man. I mean, everything is so similar to Returnal. You got the active reload. You got obviously just the crazy bullet hell things going all over the place. But it just seems like they elevated everything about it. So
sure. But we didn't see co-op as we thought we might. They didn't announce a controller, which we thought we might. And then finally, John, what do you think about so you can pay $10 more for this game and you get 48 hours early access?
Yeah, no chance. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I don't think there's a game in this world that can get me with that. I don't think
a game in this world?
I don't think there's a single game, unless one specific caveat of if I was off 2 days before and then for some reason on launch day I was unavailable, that I could just wait, man. I'm a grown up. It's fine. It's fine. I got life happening.
Fair. Shots fired at everyone who buys a game for early access.
Losers wasting your money, just giving it to the developers. What lessons are you teaching them? No, but I that stuff. I hear that stuff. They say that stuff, and I don't even let it enter my brain. I go, cool. When's the release date though? Got it.
All right. Speaking of release dates, next up we got another look at Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. It is coming August 6th, 2026 with 20 fighters. We got a look at an additional 3 in this trailer. It seems like they're breaking up, like they're going to have 5 different teams in this. This is the first team we're seeing, and this is Storm's team, the Unbreakable X-Men, which now will include Magic Wolverine, which I said was going to definitely be on this team in this game, and then
you and everybody else in the fucking universe.
yeah, not a hard guess for sure. And then nobody could have guessed the final character, which is Danger, which is the physical embodiment of the Danger Room. A very weird character, but. Here we go, and then they tease that these other heroes are going to bring their own teams, and it was Doom, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, and Captain America. So I'm assuming like this, you'll see characters from their universes. But
all right, Mr. Marvel, let's play a little game here real quick.
No, it could be anybody.
Well,
Once you introduce Danger Room,
I'm not holding you. I'm not going to noogie you and give you a swirly if you get these wrong. But who's on Spider-Man's team? Is that going to be Miles, Spider-Man?
No, not Miles.
Okay.
Miles can just. Well,
who's it going to be?
Venom for sure.
Okay.
Well, maybe they do Carnage. I don't know. You definitely have to have a symbiote.
Okay.
So,
all right, I'll get you. Okay, symbiote, Spider, Miles. Do you have other villains, or because I don't? Is there any other like Spidey friends besides other Spider-Men?
Yeah, not really. No. Yeah, and I don't think they do like a Spider-Gwen or Miles. I think it would be maybe more obscure villains. You know, it could be like a Craven or a Mysterio.
Lizard, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, what were the other teams then? You said Captain America, so that's probably one of the Avengers teams.
Yeah, that's for the Avengers.
So
team.
that's what Black Widow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Help me out, Mr. Marvel,
probably
man.
Black Widow for sure. You have Bucky. You have
Probably
Thor.
Bucky. Okay. That sounds like a good 4. Okay, and then what was the other one?
Ghost Rider.
Okay, I don't.
Oh, that's like the
Punisher. Like that
well,
kind of
Punisher
stuff?
could probably be in there, but that Blade is a very likely candidate. Elsa Bloodstone, a lot of the more of the Midnight Suns. Think that
We
like
should
if
do
you
this.
played Midnight Suns.
I think I might have decided just right now. I want you to write down your 20 characters. And again, nobody's gonna make fun of you, buddy. Just write your 20 and let's see how many you could get. You know, and I know you're gonna be like, yeah, Danger. Nobody guesses that, whatever. But you know,
right.
It'd be fun.
Well, and to be fair, characters that are announced are probably part of these teams too. Not
Well, then they just say there's like 20 characters at once.
Yeah, there's 20 characters.
So, you can you get 10 freebies because there's already been like 10 announced. But all right.
Okay. Next up, we got another look at.
Sorry, I did want to say I had heard from a friend of mine who is super into the fighting game community, despite him not playing fighting games at all. He was saying that apparently right now people with Tokon are a little upset because characters don't like. There's so much going on with the 3-man teams, 4-man teams, even worse. That the characters don't feel different enough. Everybody seems so similar that that's something that they're trying to tweak. So.
Yeah, Blessing on Kind of Funny was saying the same thing.
Was it?
They're
Okay.
not as after the first beta that people aren't as high on it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be super cool, and they'll get it there. That's
right.
the beautiful thing about fighting games. They don't just launch and then stop. But yeah.
All right. Then we took a break to talk about PlayStation Plus editions, which is getting Marvel Spider-Man 2 this month, and Big Walk will be. When it is released, will be a PlayStation Plus, released directly to it. Nothing too great there. And then then we end the show.
And then
and we got a lot, man. We have a lot to talk here.
Okay.
Because the next thing we get to see is not just we see God of War, and
Nick
not
starts
just
clapping,
and not just 1. Not just 2, but 3. That we are getting the original God of War trilogy is getting a remake. What that means, we can talk about that now. Mm-hmm. But I think we can start on just saying how awesome T.C. Carson is.
dude. That guy. What is it about Kratos that they find the coolest men to play their voice? But I didn't know T.C. Carson. I know the voice, but I didn't know him as a character.
Right.
But as the kids love to say, the riz on that guy was off the charts.
Yeah.
Just like he could
could sweet talk any person into anything, I'm sure. Man or woman. I don't know. Yeah. It's super charming.
Yeah, he did a lot of heavy lifting here. Obviously they emphasized very, very early announcement, so who knows when we'll see these games, but I mean, as a giant fan of those 3 games, I mean, what do you want this to be? Because it's going to be more than just an up-res, right?
Yeah, if they're trying to front load this announcement with like it's super early into development, like give us time, then yeah, they have to, because I think, similar to like what they did with the Spyro games, not them, but whoever remade those, Vicarious Visions, I think. You can up-res some PS2 games pretty quickly. I don't think.
I mean, look at Delta. Metal Gear Solid Delta. It could be that treatment,
right? Yeah, if you think about the original God of War games, they're very, very straightforward. They're linear, just like all games were at that time. We weren't living in the land of every game's an open world game. So you're running down the streets of Rome while there's fireballs happening and you're fighting enemies. Yep, fixed camera. You're fighting a minotaur on the side of a mountain. So it's like, I don't see a world why they wouldn't or couldn't modernize it and put it in the 2018 version, right? Like, why couldn't you, if you're really trying to make this a big deal, a super big thing that they can, hang their hat on and say, like, we did God of War to the fullest, give that a shot?
I think if we're talking about the spectrum of things, right? I think if they go the fullest, the hardest, it would be making those first 3 games like the current God of War games, God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. Or if you're saying like the least amount of effort, it is like a Delta, which is like a pretty much a 1-to-1. The game is the same, but we just a bunch of quality of life improvements. It looks a lot better, widescreen support, all that. But is that where you want it to be? You want the God of War?
If I'm being honest with myself, I think I want the not that, though. Like, I kind of want to just go through them again. And with trophies and scratch, like, I live in this world now. It's like there's so many things that come out. I don't need a brand new version of a thing that I hold in my head in a certain way. I just kind of want to go through it again. Like, they're going to make future God of War games with that style and all that stuff. So it's like, do I need to go? It's like the story's going to be the same. It's not. I'm not going to get any emotional impacts of Dad Kratos like I have in these new ones, where you have these up close camera moments of Kratos reaching out to touch Atreus' back, but he doesn't because he doesn't know how to, comfort his son. Like, you don't have that. So it's like, I don't know. There is part of me. It's like you said, quality of life improvements. Maybe figure out a way that I can rotate the camera or clean up some of there's a lot of just poorly. I don't know, design's not the right word, but sections. There's an infamous climb where you have to climb up this spinning tower of blades, and like you can get all the way to the top and you just fall all the way down, and like that stuff can go away. What?
You just unlocked the trauma for me.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you're like,
but I know it now.
Like, oh my God, make that easier to do. Or, in the first game when you're in Kronos' temple on the back of, or not Kronos' temple, Pandora's temple on the back of Kronos. It's like, I remember the puzzles that you had to do to get to the center of that, because it was like spiral, or it was like concentric circles that get smaller and smaller and smaller. I was like, this is just taking too long and stupid. So clean it up that way, because I also don't want them spending 8 years to do this too.
Right.
So like, clean it up, make it pretty, give me trophies, maybe make my camera angles a little bit better, or whatever the case may be. But that's enough in my eyes, and I think that would be super sweet.
Okay. How do you, and I, again, so PlayStation will remake anything but Bloodborne. Like, how do you feel about, we'll get into what's not here. We'll get around the heavy rumors that, despite these announcements, Sony Santa Monica has something in the tank that is very likely to show up soon.
Yeah.
Within either this May State of Play or September or a Keighley event, right? Are you happy that, because Naughty Dog took a lot of shit for releasing Last of Us Part 1 and Last of Us Part 2. Obviously, it's not the same here because God of War 1 was a PS2 game. Mm-hmm. That trilogy, so it's just a much older franchise. I'm just shocked that you can remember Pandora's Temple on Chrono's backs and these certain sections. I forget a lot.
Yeah, I remember so much of my figuring out what God of War was. I remember the first trailer before the game even launched and being on my computer and be like, what the fuck is this? I watched that trailer
For the first game?
for the first game.
Wow.
The Hydra showing up and just being like, I watched that trailer. I remember sitting in my parents' basement. I must have watched it just 10 times straight in a row. Just
Right.
like, I gotta see it again. I gotta see it again. And getting the game and going to my friend's house and showing it off. So like that was just a special time for me. I don't know, when did the first game come out? 2005?
So again, I didn't have a PS2. So when I had a PS3, I played it, which was funny because I told you this story. Like I got the PS3 came out before God of War 2, and then God of War 2 came out on PS2.
Yeah.
So November of whatever year that was, feels ages ago. The PS3 released, and then that following March, God of War 2 came out. So I remember God of War 2 a lot more than I do the first one because I was just playing like all these PS2 games back to back. And then I was showing you the God of War 3 trailer because I remember similar to what you're saying, just watching that trailer over and over and again and being like, oh,
Can't wait.
Fuck you, Zeus. I'm going to take you down so hard.
It's so hard.
But back to my question. Obviously, the love of the franchise is there, and maybe we can just make this a thing and sit back and talk about the original trilogy. But what do you feel about Sony Santa Monica going back to this?
I'm good. I'm very good. Like I don't. Again, this is maybe a theme with me. I don't ever get mad at a team for not be like, give me the next thing. Like I don't anymore. I used to maybe be that way in my younger years, but like I can't let myself get like obsessed with like, no, I need this one thing now. It's kind of, I think, associated with my comment earlier about like, I don't think there's a game that you can make me pay extra money to play 2 days early. Like I'm not in that space.
Right.
So, and I know that Sony's going back to the God of War eventually. Like those 2 games are the biggest things ever for them right now, Ragnarok in 2018. So we're gonna get more eventually. Like,
and
do this now. It's all
we haven't
good.
talked about it on the show, but the casting for the show has been heating up. Like that's turning into like an interesting project. Like it's
They're making a lot of good choices.
They're putting their money where their mouth is by trying to adapt God of War. That like God of War, like I think the biggest complaint right now with all the like Fallout being so heavy is like it would be great if there was just a game to play, right? Like go back to Fallout, other than going back and playing the old games, and here you go. It's like, you know, probably by the time the show comes out, we'll at least maybe see the first game's remake, and the appetites will be high. And
that's a good question, actually. Now you just said it that way, because for some reason in my head, I view this, all 3 are coming out at the same time. That's in my head, I view it that way. I don't know why, and until this moment, I just that's kind of why I'm leaning towards they're just going to up-res them with quality of life improvements, because you wouldn't do obviously that much work. But they're small games. Like like how long would it take to beat the first God of War? Also, it was 2005 because I'm the man. God of War, how long to beat?
Oh, man, they're long. They're not. I mean, they felt like 20 to 30 hours.
Sorry, God of War.
Yeah, that's it. Oh,
9 hours, bad buddy. It's 9 hours.
The first game.
First game.
Well, again, the first game I don't remember.
Second one, 12. Third one. Sorry.
Damn.
So it's like I start to kind of, but I don't know. That is third one, 10. So I just feel like it makes more sense to me to just put them all together. I don't think maybe this frames again my answer to, like, I'm okay with them doing it this way, because in my head they're just doing all 3. Here they are, go play them. They're not going to spend the next 12 years
because the way, like, yeah, you're probably right, because of the way, obviously the announcement too. Like, it's right, God of War Trilogy remake. It's not, we're God of War.
Right, this isn't Halo 1 remake, and then we're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I took it. So yeah, I mean, I'm good with Sony.
Well, then, if that's the case, there's no way this is like.
There's no way there's more than, like, we're gonna modernize it.
Right. It is. It'll be like Delta.
Yeah, the Spyro trilogy.
Yeah,
Spyro trilogy. Mm-hmm. The Spyro trilogy and Crash trilogy are weirdly like the biggest comparisons. I think.
Yeah.
Of what we'll
so you'll probably get, like, different. The environments will look better, sharper. Like, they'll have a better texture pass, better lighting. Mm-hmm. All that. It'll probably look probably
gonna
look
look
night
awesome.
and day.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably not there will be no change of camera, no change of like the core gameplay there.
Just give me some trophies, like, make sure I get a trophy for
That's
having sex with every character in all the games, because that's what you do in those.
We'll touch on that briefly because IGN
Yeah, I saw that article.
have posted its article about it. I mean, I guess if they're doing all three, that's.
Look, we it's funny how we both approach a topic with just different frames of mind, and then you're like, oh, you're thinking of it. Oh yeah.
I just didn't think it was possible. Like I don't know. Those games felt, and then maybe it's just because of the scale of them.
Yeah.
They felt so large. Like
Yeah.
the fights were huge and everything was huge. And I didn't have much of when those games were coming out. Time meant nothing to me. So,
100%, right.
So I didn't really hours to beat. Like I didn't care
Dude,
at
who
the
knows?
time.
We might have beaten them 2 or 3 times when we
Right.
I don't know if I went back and did it. I probably did. But yeah, I mean, if you think of I don't remember God of War 2 that much, but God of War 1, it's right. You climb. Spoilers for God of War 3, I guess, guys. You climb Gaia. You go to Hades. You then take on Apollo and them. And okay, you're doing a lot. Now that I'm looking at a walkthrough.
Yeah.
You go to the
do a
labyrinth.
lot.
You go to Tartarus. You go to Poseidon's chamber. Some mazes and caves. Yeah, I don't know. But this is my announcement of the show. I know it's kind of a lame announcement of the show, but I like new announcements, and those original 3 are not as special and near to me as the new ones are. But I still.
All right, maybe we'll revisit this more next week.
Yeah, we'll get some more
we obviously got a little excited there.
Yeah.
Get us talking about God of War, but that wasn't the only God of War thing here. Oh, I guess to answer IGN's question, are the sex mini games returning?
I would put them in there.
You'd leave them as is?
I would leave them in there. I mean, but I'm one of those people that finds it extremely weird that we live in a society that's okay with heads getting cut off but a nipple makes us freak out. I get it. I'm a dad of a 9-year-old son. It's way easier to be like, yeah, head's cut off. It's not real though, Levi, as opposed to well, so that's a boob. I don't, you know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, get over it. Sex happens. I don't know. It's weird, but he's the God of War. What do you want? See what you can get Nick going with
so that's a boob.
There's a boob.
No further explanation needed. Women have those, not you. That's explanation over.
Dad, I feel funny.
But I don't, because
they're not, but
they're not offensive. They're just part of like Conan and those other hard fantasies.
Have you ever watched the HBO series Rome?
One scene because you showed me it.
Okay, or Spartacus.
Yeah.
Any of those shows.
Yeah.
That's just
or 300.
That's so
yeah.
ingrained in their culture that I think if you're just kind of a grown up, an adult about it, you'd be like, yeah, I mean, back in the day, that's how it was. Move on.
Right.
I don't think you have to do them.
No, you do not. No,
It
you do
just
not.
gives you currencies. So I know the article.
Maybe maybe not even Aphrodite.
I think you might have to just at least get through the cutscene, but
right.
Yeah, the article of IGN's it's integral to the story of Kratos as a character. It's I wouldn't even go that far.
No,
it's simply just not a big deal if we don't make it a big deal.
Right.
But,
it's just
I'll just have to make
like
sure
you said, it was just a big deal because he's having sex. Oh my god! But it's not even on camera.
Yeah,
it's off the camera.
Here is an interesting dad angle though. I think I would probably let Levi play through these games at this point. Mm-hmm. But that part would be weird. It would be weird. Dad, what's happening?
It's off screen. He's kissing them.
The scene in Forrest Gump when he's sitting outside and the principal of his school comes and bangs his mom. And then I remember watching that scene as a kid and him going, and I'd be like, I have no idea what's happening right now. And it's fine, whatever. We'll just move on.
Right.
And then coming to that realization when I'm older. So it's part of growing up, people.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. There's
bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. It's almost cartoonish in how ridiculous it is.
Exactly.
It's off camera and then it's what a vase fall bumping against the on an end table.
Yeah, and you get some obviously this isn't a kids show. You get some climax noises and things like that.
Yeah.
But
that was not the only God of War announcement. As we talked about last week, Where are they going to slot God of War, the 2D God of War that's been rumored forever? Well, how about out now? God of War, Sons of Sparta, made with the studio Megacat Studios, is a prequel to the original God of War trilogy, where you play Kid Kratos and his brother Deimos as they go through a Metroidvania. What do you think, John? It's out. People are playing this.
Yeah,
neither of us are.
No, it's sitting at a 74 on OpenCritic. Not the type of score you typically associate with God of War. I think this announcement is pretty. Don't need to sugarcoat it. Lackluster. A little lackluster announcement. I don't think there's any harm in saying that.
I wonder what world, if we were in a world where the rumor never existed and then this just was a thing, right? I think last year when we started talking about this and being like, the Prince of Persia Lost Crown effort, but with Kratos and using the Blade of Chaos, and I think we were instantly jumping to that version of Kratos.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Why would you think you'd be playing Kid Kratos for the entire game? That I think I just wonder, because expectations is everything. I think that harms people's expectations of showcases is when they get in their own head, and we do it here, of course. When you're like, oh, Bloodborne 2 and all these big games will be here, and then it's not what you wanted or what you envisioned in your head, and this is certainly not that. And
Yeah, I think it's pretty evident the moment you see it. It's like there's a definite art style here, but it just feels like an underbaked project in a lot of little different ways. Where it's like I feel like the art style could use a little bit more polish. Everything I hear about the gameplay, it's like it's a Metroidvania that's just pretty okay. And if you're a fan of Kratos, you might like it, but there's not much here. It's. And then when you add on the price tag of it, which is the main reason, honestly, for me that I was like, I would check out, me, Nick, I don't like to play 74s, but I would have checked this out easily at a 74 if it was $15. But 30 just seems weird, especially with the way that it was presented of this is a passion project. It doesn't seem like you guys were trying to make a bunch of money off of this. So why not just make it a little bit more approachable,
or drop it on extra at the very least,
or do that. Yeah, there's just a lot of weird ways that this was kind of handled, and where it almost seems like I don't know, they wanted more out of this, but they weren't getting more. So we'll just get it out here now with a little God of War bump, and it's fine. But I mean, cool that a shadow drop. That's always a good thing.
Yeah,
that's always fun.
No, the out now thing is always good. But yeah, I think. We were watching this together, and I think everyone's face said it all.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So, not the greatest thing to end on, but again.
Well, yeah, I kind of view the ending was it as a whole.
Right. Together, the ending is basically PlayStation recommitting, because obviously after Ragnarok, where has this franchise been? We never did get Man, I wonder.
Atreus.
Yeah, remember people thought it was an Atreus game, and boy, this.
If you pay attention enough, man, you'll notice rumors that I can see where that came from. I can see where this came from. It wasn't quite what we thought, but it's this, and I could see that being a thing.
Yeah, why people would think this was an Atreus game.
Looking at him.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the fans about how you picked this game up?
Oh. Yeah, we can briefly. We do the Fantasy League. We changed some rules this year where you can pick unannounced games, and I thought, oh man, this is pro move. I'm gonna get the unannounced because this has been rumored, so unannounced God of War Greek project. And, in worst case scenario is I see the game, and if I don't like it, I can drop it.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with a shadow drop is I'm just instantly fucked.
Yeah.
The game is out, and you cannot drop a game after it's out, so I'm stuck with this in our fantasy league. And as John mentioned,
you
a
just
74.
have just the worst luck, man. It just seems like when you pick games, Redfall is obviously the biggest one of nobody thought that this was going to be what it was, but the same thing here. It's okay, if it's a thing and you get it, it's at least an 85, and if it's not an 85, like you said, I'll drop it. And none of those two things come true, and I feel like this is more talk than anything, but it's just I know how badly you've been wanting to beat me at this dumb thing for a while now, and it's just early in the year, you're really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah, John and I are we we have a lot of gamers at work for sure, and a lot of gamers in this league, but not obviously on the levels that John and I are. And so that John has been walking away with this league every year except 1 year.
4 out of 5.
It hurts, and they constantly get hurt. Did you just brush your shoulders off?
What does Jay-Z? Get some dirt off your shoulder? Yeah, I don't know. I brushed him or dusted him. I don't know which one it was. Whichever one's cooler.
It hurts, and especially it's been like fluke things, especially as we expanded the league to other people. He mentioned Redfall. I mentioned Mina the Hollower not coming out last year.
That was repetitively.
Yeah, and now this starting the year down isn't great, but
you got a good team.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say something, and I forgot.
But
nobody picked up. I know we were surprised nobody picked up Kenna, but also nobody picked up Castlevania. Thought that might have been one too.
Yeah, that's another one.
It's like some people. I would have dropped some of the games that some people have for one of those, but their choice to give me money at the end of the year, I suppose.
That's true.
All right.
I mean, you haven't even got. What's your game this year?
Oh, I got Mugenics, baby.
No, I mean, what is the game you bought? You're gonna buy with your money from last year?
Oh, I bought Arc Raiders was my game.
Oh, okay.
Boring. Yeah, sorry.
Boring.
But yeah, no, I got Mugenics, so I'm good so far.
All right.
Wish I could play it.
So that's it. That was every announcement from the show. Was there any takeaways, things not here that surprised you?
Nothing that was surprising. I mean, I think Wolverine is positioned appropriately. We didn't need to see it there. It would have been cool to see Intergalactic, but at the same time, like, probably too early, so it's fine. So no, again, like, kind of to our point at the beginning here, it's like that was a very well curated show with the right games in the right places. I know you signed deals, so we got to show Resident Evil X amount of times, and we got to show. There was another one later. Brain's not working today very well. I'm remembering things. My RAM is running low. I've heard there's a RAM shortage in this world. Maybe they're pulling from our brains now. But overall, yeah. I mean, it was great, and gets me even a little bit more hyped for the one in May, because May's always the one that's like you hope is the one. And so if they can kind of meet this level or even go a little bit higher at that one, show off a little Wolverine, a little Intergalactic, and then we'll tap dance our way to Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. I mean, outside of a few games here, a lot of games for the first half of the year. So, and you knew that was going to happen. So, a lot of release dates, a decent showing, but no Microsoft here at all. I thought eventually they would show up in one of these, but not a single one of their games were here. Horizon Hunter Gathering, which we saw the week before.
I'm glad that wasn't there. I would have been kind of mad.
Yeah, not even a inkling of that. And then you had the prediction of hardware. Nothing on the hardware front. No new controllers, faceplates, or the OLED portal that is currently rumored. So just straight game after game after game after game. And here we are. Woo. All right. Woo. Good stuff. All right. Anything to tease for next week?
Hopefully I'll have the platinum in Hollow Knight. I did my first Pantheon run last night, the full one, and I got to the final boss. And so I thought I was gonna do it, Nick. I wanted it so bad to just do it the first time and then be like, yeah, shit's nothing. But but it got me, and but I'll be back. And so no, I don't know what I'm. I have something lined up.
You're dipping with Silent Hill F.
Yeah, I keep dipping in and out, and I like it. I don't know. I feel like it's just the wrong time. It's one of those I was talking about.
It's gotta be in October.
Yeah, it's just not a February thing. I don't know. I like it.
Fair enough.
No, I'm honestly, with Resident Evil around the corner, it's probably best to just play something until that comes. I
meant to bring that up with our talk about Jesse. Is like, if you plan on playing Resident Evil, maybe smaller games is the move for now, because it's out next week.
Yeah. But no, so
it's fine. There's plenty coming out and plenty to play.
Yeah. That's just, there's something else I want to say. Like I said, brain's mush right now.
You're fine. So. We've been, this is a long, episode's going long, so you're good. And I completed and platinumed the game Cairn, and I am really, really excited to talk about it. That game is is something special.
Oh boy.
So we'll talk about that more next week.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like if right after Resident Evil, if I have time, I feel like it's time for a Dispatcher Cairn. I'm one of those two. That's
Okay.
what I'm thinking.
Well, when we talk about Cairn
Cairn.
next week,
Corn? Is it called corn? Corn.
maybe that'll help you decide. But those are both very good games. Yeah. All right. We thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our breakdown of the February 2026 State of Play. We will be back next week, of course. Take care of yourself. We love you. And goodbye.
Goodbye.